Hey everybody, I'm Jason Weissbrod. I am the co-founder and head of the film department at Spectrum Laboratory, which you can see us online on speclabs.org, and I am here today speaking on Breaking the Biz.
Stay tuned for today's episode of Breaking the Biz, an informative podcast where we dive into the world of entertainment by interviewing seasoned professionals who have made their mark in the industry. Gain invaluable insights as they share their personal journeys, offering advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the entertainment industry. Whether you're an aspiring actor, musician, filmmaker, author, animator, or any creative soul, tune in for expert career guidance, insider tips, and first-hand accounts on breaking into the entertainment industry. Get ready to unlock the secrets behind successful careers and fuel your own passion for the limelight. Please remember to like this video and to subscribe to our channels for more great conversations.
Greetings from Breaking the Biz, brought to you by Yes I Can Unity Through Music and Education. I'm William Felber, your navigator through the intriguing universe of the entertainment industry, as revealed by the visionaries and creators who bring it to life. Stay tuned as we delve into diverse insights from the forefront of entertainment, hearing from pioneers, creators, and agents of change. Prepare for a journey filled with tales of innovation, resilience, and the undying quest for artistic brilliance.
We've got a great guest with us. We have Jason Weissbrod, who is the head of the film department at Spectrum Laboratory. He's also a professional director, producer, actor, and writer. He got his bachelor's degree in directing and acting for film and theater, and has directed, produced, written, edited, and starred in many films, TV shows, web series, commercials, and theater productions. He became involved with the neurodiverse and autism community over 15 years ago through his work with the Miracle Project as their theater director and lead acting coach. He also worked with programs and organizations such as the Tree Academy, the Help Group, Autism on the Sea, the CSUN's Teenage Drama Workshop. Over the time, many neurodivergent and autistic artists told Jason they wanted to make professional movies, record music, and eventually work in the entertainment industry. This inspired Jason and his colleague, Garth Herberg, to create Spectrum Laboratories. Jason and Garth believe that teaming up with neurodivergent artists along with entertainment professionals stimulates everyone's creativity and talent. Jason says, show people what they can do and the magic will ensue. And has it, Jason feels blessed to be able to do what he loves each day and thanks all who support Spectrum Laboratory. For those who do not know, Spectrum Laboratory is a California 501c3 nonprofit whose mission is to empower young artists on the autism spectrum to create original works of film and music. They provide collaboration with professionals and help students learn the skills to hone in on their craft. They encourage a creative environment that educates and entertains. What challenges or disabilities of students face, their mission is to let them be heard. Obviously, you can see there is strong synergy, and we are blessed and excited to have Jason with us tonight. So, Jason, I want to thank you once again for making time for us.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm excited about it. Thank you for
All
having
right,
me.
let's
Yeah,
get into it.
let's get
When
into it.
did you fall in love with writing, with movies? Because obviously you're a passionate individual, and it takes that type of individual to hone in and mentor other individual and passionate creatives.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I would, everybody would be out playing and I would be usually watching movies or making movies. I would ask my parents when I was young for like old school camcorders, and I'd film all the kids in the neighborhood goofing off and being silly, and I would like film biking videos, and then we'd make like little movies on our own with like the kids in the neighborhood. So I started off really young. I used to like edit my films through double VHS, like two VHSs next to each other, and I'd edit like that way when I was a kid. And obviously it's a lot easier now, but it was great. Like I mean, I taught myself how to edit. I taught myself how to, work camera. And then when I was a young, kid in LA, a lot of my friends were actors. So I jumped into the acting world and started working on commercials and TV shows and getting parts and stuff like that, and did pretty successful for a while. And in college, I got more into behind camera stuff. So I started directing and writing theater and films and submitting films to film festivals. And for a good 15 years from after college and from college on, that's what I was doing, was making films, independent filmmaking. I still am, but now I'm just kind of more geared and doing it with the Spectrum Laboratory community. So yeah, I've always just been passionate about making movies and telling stories.
So let's talk about, I mean, you've worked with amazing organizations, The Miracle, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Miracle Project? Yeah,
Yeah, the Miracle
that was my
Project.
introduction to the autism community and world.
Let's talk about that intro.
Yeah, I mean, I was there when they were creating the documentary that won them some Emmys through HBO, the Autism the Musical. And I was a theater director there, and I was writing the plays and directing the plays and just having a good time. And I'm not a musical theater guy, so it was just kind of like I fell into that world. I do like some musical theaters and movies and stuff. Like I love Little Shop of Horrors and stuff like that, or Nightmare Before Christmas. But my real passion was in filmmaking. So, and a lot of at that time when I was working there, a lot of the people I was working with were like, we call them kids because they were like 12, 13, 14-year olds. And now, like 10 years later, all of a sudden they were growing out of the school. And in the autism community, after the age of 22, you kind of grow out of the school system, and things can be very stressful and chaotic. And parents are looking for their kids, like what to do next. And a lot of people that I met through the years working for other nonprofits and just being friends with a lot of people within the autism community, there was such a need for the autism community to express themselves and to try to, like, they wanted to work in the entertainment industry, and they wanted to be actors or singers or play in a band or record music and put it out on Apple or Amazon, or get their demo reels done and try to audition for TV shows and movies. So myself, along with Garth Herberg, who is the other co-founder of Spec Labs, we started Spec Labs as kind of like a production studio. That was like the idea of like shooting films and making music and putting it out there. But we realized we needed students. So we started off with our first class. We started a nonprofit. Our first class had about 6 students. And now it's 10 years later. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we've got a roster of almost around 70 students. So we've been growing, and we just started with a film and music class, but now we have all different types of classes. If you go to our website, you'll see we have improv, comedy, acting. We have live bands that perform on stage. We have voiceover classes where we're teaching students how to do voiceover from home or in the studio and submit to audition. We have an on-camera acting class, learning how to act in front of camera and also how to self-tape and audition. We're building our career prep program, which is so a lot of this is going to be online and in person, and trying to like build reels, portfolios, resumes for actors, voice actors, musicians, to try to break into the entertainment industry. So that's really our big mission of ours now. So Spectrum Laboratory kind of has 2 parts. There's like the educational part and then the entertainment part. The educational part is like classes and you preparing our students to succeed in the industry. And then the entertainment part is we make movies, we make records, we have live events throughout the year where you can see our bands play and our improv team perform. So we definitely do a lot of things, but it's all geared towards having fun and creating and being expressive within the entertainment industry.
I love that. And, something you mentioned that just resonates is the fact that you're helping them create those reels, getting the stuff that they need to really leverage and get into the entertainment industry, because coaching is great, but if you're leaving a class and you don't have something tangible to take with you, if that's a voiceover reel, if that's editing, animation, whatever it is, you need something like that to really show your worth.
Yeah, even if
When
it's
we
a
were,
short film you've done,
yeah,
like casting directors will look at anything, they don't want to watch a whole hour-long movie that you're in. But if you have like a little bit of a short film that you did, that's the beginning. So we kind of do that. We shoot these short films, and then, the more and more our students stay longer with us, they're building their resumes, they're building their demo reels. And, casting directors call sometimes, they'll be looking for a specific type. And I'll be like, this kid is new, but he just did this short film with us. And I send them like a little clip of them from the short film. And then they get an idea of, instead of just looking at a headshot. So I really, nowadays, it's, casting directors like really like seeing as much as you can. And they don't love scenes from acting classes, unfortunately. It's like they want to see your work like on a set or in a film, or how you came across on camera in a professional type setting. So like theater, like live theater, you could film it or seen some in acting class, but they would rather see something that was more professional. So that's what we're trying to do, is really give our students that opportunity
I
to
love that. And,
showcase
obviously we have lots of listeners that are very interested in finding their home in the entertainment industry. And when we were talking before we started the podcast, you were sharing that you have lots of individuals that you have seen who have had success. Can you speak to some of those individuals and kind of what they're doing now? Obviously, people are always concerned that the disability will possibly get in the way of their success. And at Yes I Can, we believe that obviously any ability should overshadow a disability. So I'm curious, some of the success stories that you have seen.
Yeah, I mean, when I started 10 years ago, the conversation was, do we disclose our disability or do we say we're autistic? And it was very nerve-wracking. There were a lot of people who worked in the industry who are autistic, but were too scared to say it because they were worried about getting fired. But nowadays, the conversation is finally changing, and it's people are realizing that having a more diverse type of production with different people from all walks of life makes a more exciting project. And it's kind of beautiful to see that happening within the industry. Of course, the industry is always tough. We're very realistic with our students that, if you go for a job and want to work in this industry, it can be very stressful and it can be extremely hard, and you have to work hard. But those who really have a lot of passion for it, I've seen success. And one of our students, he was kind of a big inspiration for Spectrum Laboratory. There's a guy by the name of Dominique Brown. It's just a wealth of talent, an actor, singer, songwriter. He plays guitar. He's a really talented guy. We were working with him, and he showed us this book of about 100 songs that he had written. And Garth was like, "We got to make a record of your music." And then I got a notice from a casting director who was doing a new show on Netflix called Atypical about an autistic person. And then the show hadn't been on, and we had no idea about it, but they were looking for like this group of peers, of people who would be in the show with him, and they wanted to hire actually autistic people to be in that group. So I submitted quite a few of my students, and Dominique Brown got cast on the show, and he became a recurring role. And another student of ours, Spencer Hart, got cast on the show. Another student of ours, Brandon Rodriguez, ended up doing a co-star part later on. And so that show, whether you like it or not, the cool thing that came out of it was one of those first shows that was about autism, that was kind of on the big streaming service like Netflix. And they were casting actually autistic people, even though the lead wasn't himself, but it was a move in the right direction. And so since then, we've been seeing our students get more and more opportunities. In the world of voiceover, we've had some of our voiceover students get jobs working for different shows and different types of media outlets and web series and different animated shows. We also have a music program that scores does a lot of composition and scoring, and some of our students got to score stuff for Sesame Street, which was really cool, in the Special Olympics. So we've just had some really cool success stories, but there's a lot more to be done within the industry, and it's getting better, but it's we're kind of championing and being a part of that move. A student of ours was in the movie Champions, Matthew von der Ahi, and like he's amazing. And it's just like he was just on with Woody Harrelson the other night. Woody Harrelson was getting an award, and he announced they're making a second Champions, and Matthew, they're all excited, and it's just cool. It's just to see the big stars getting out there and talking about it. Stan Sebastian just had an amazing speech at an award show about, bringing in different inclusive types of stories. And so, yeah, if you're interested in breaking in the entertainment industry, not to say it's going to be easy road, but it's definitely, if you have a lot of passion and you have a great positive attitude and you just love like working and creating and making things, then, people will attach to that. They like working with fun, upbeat, positive people. People will say, what else do you need? How can I help? And sometimes that goes a lot farther than someone who's talented. If you're a easy, fun, awesome person to work with, and we can teach you the skills. So even the most technical, most talented person, if they're not fun to work with, you're not going to get hired a lot. So that's just a little advice I have for everybody out there.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that is echoed from so many different guest speakers, casting directors or just anyone in the industry.
Yeah.
No one wants the hot shot who thinks they know it all, who's got the education, and they're like, check out my degree. If you're coachable, if you're a good soul, you got a smile on your face and you're hungry to learn. Those are the type of people that, it does go a long way. And I agree with you. Nothing is going to be easy. There's no cheat codes, but if you're resilient and, like you mentioned, passionate, and this is what you want to do, you should have that plan A and continue with plan A, and go all love that.
The other thing I just wanted to add is patience is really a big part of this, everyone. Just being patient and knowing and having faith one day you'll get opportunities, and not getting upset or feeling like there's something you've done wrong if it's not happening fast enough for you. It's a lot of people who work in the industry say it's the ones who end up succeeding. It's because they had patience and they kept working. They just kept working. A good friend of mine who's on our advisory board is Jorge Gutierrez, who's like an amazing animator creator of like the Book of Life and Maya and the Three. And he came and spoke to our Spectrum Laboratory students. And that was one of his biggest messages, was just keep working, just keep creating, have a good positive attitude, and just have patience. Like, don't worry, when am I going to become famous? When am I going to get on that show? If it's not happening fast enough for you, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just sometimes it might take, everybody's journey takes different times. And the most people who end up getting success in industry are the ones who work at it for a long time and have a lot of patience and can like deal with the rejection in a positive way and say, it just wasn't my time, for that specific job. Yeah.
Jorge Gutierrez is probably one of the best examples of someone who just took rejection and ran with it and put a smile on his face. His story
is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of like, hey, if you don't get it, someone else is going to get it. And obviously, he's a testament to sometimes it's not the right time. But I agree with you. You got to be patient, and usually success is on the other side of our comfort zone, and those who give up, you never know if you were right there and you just gave up at the wrong time.
Yeah, it can happen like that,
Yeah.
that you can go on like 20 different job opportunities for like the right job, and you really want it so bad and you don't get it, and then you want to give up, and then that 21st could have been the job.
100%.
There's a funny actor named Hank Azaria who's on The Simpsons. And he says quit and quit often because he's like, whenever you decide like I'm done, that's when you're going to get the job. But it was kind of like a joke. He's not actually saying to quit. He's just saying that usually, like, for his friends that he's noticed who've quit, it could like the next job will come up, or like, so it's kind of like this funny thing where it's like when you or if you book a vacation, you'll end up getting a job. You know what I mean? Like just always keep doing or do other things or just be busy. If you're just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, then it's not going to happen,
100%.
The great opportunities happen when you're not expecting it to.
It's kind of like the relationships when you're like, all right, that's it. I'm not dating anymore. And then you're going to meet
Yeah, and then
somebody
you find
that
the
you
love of
didn't,
your
you
life.
didn't
Yeah.
expect. I agree. It's the irony and the way life works. Talk me
Yeah.
through how important networking has been to your success, Jason.
Very important. Most of my big jobs that I've gotten through Spectrum Laboratory and when I was just doing my own thing, being an independent filmmaker, were through friends and people I met. Most of the work I got were friends of mine who saw me in acting class or like saw me in a play or somebody who like was a friend of a friend who said, you got to meet Jason. I think he'll be great for this. Most of my jobs that I enjoyed working on, that I had a lot of fun with, were usually through friends or building a community, like being a part of a community. And that's one of the big things I love the most about Spectrum Laboratory is the community of artists all working together. Like when we create stuff together, it really is a collaborative experience, making a film, making music, whatever it may, in the art community. Very few things you'll get paid for sitting at home doing by yourself. Writers is one of those things, but at the same time, as a writer, you got to network. You got to get out there and sell your script. You got to meet people and tell them about your stories and what you're doing, Just can't sit at home and write and, hope that somebody's going to read it. So in all assets of the industry, networking is huge, talking to people. And I know that for a lot of my students and people on the spectrum, it's tough to put yourself out there like that, to be socially available. And I mean, it's tough for anybody to just like get dressed up and go to an event. But 9 times out of 10, I won't want to go to the whatever networking thing might be. And 9 times out of 10, on the way home, I'm happy I went. There'll be one or two where I was like, I didn't need to go to that one. But most of the time, I'm like, man, I met this person. He was really cool. I met this really cool DP. And then he ends up shooting the next Spec Labs short film we end up doing because I went to this event and met a really cool director of photography. So networking is huge. Getting out of your comfort zone, you got to do it,
I love it.
Creating and networking, those are the big two things. Always create, always network, and find a community of like, this is an amazing community with Breaking the Biz, finding communities where you can chat with people and talk to people and meet people and just tell your story, and keep telling your story to people. And somebody's going to want to listen eventually and help you.
100%. And that's why you got to be prepared to give that 15-second pitch.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. But I agree with you, getting out of the comfort zone. And 9 out of 10 times, I agree. You do meet someone even when it's not necessarily a networking thing, going to an event, going to a show, going to a screening, you're going to meet people and it's all right to be social.
Yeah, I mean, even going to Comic-Con, you know what I mean? Like just going to Comic-Con, go to those panels, go to like those things. That's fun, Like, yeah, it's expensive, but if you go, it's fun. Like one of my students, Josh, like he goes to all those things, LA Comic-Con, and he meets everybody. He like brought a pretty big name actor to Spectrum Laboratory because he met him at one of these Comic-Con things, and it's just a cool way. And if you go out there and you're like just positive and have a good attitude and can chat like that, if you're not one of those type of people and you're more introverted and stuff like that, then it's really important for you to create in any way you can, whether it's writing or making your own movies or putting your stuff up on YouTube and just getting stuff out there. If you're more introverted and you're not good at the networking, then that's the thing is create or animate, make animations, do whatever you can.
Okay. Talk me through, obviously at this point in your career, you are mentoring lots of talented creatives with disabilities, but who has been probably the biggest mentor to you?
Oh, interesting. Biggest mentor to me. Wow. Well, you know what's the funniest thing? It sounds kind of weird, but it's not, I guess it's not that weird, but my business partner Garth um has really helped me as far as showing like inspiring me of what I can do with our students. So like watching him work with the students and seeing how he gets them going and how he gets them inspired is like inspires me. So like we really work off of each other in that really cool way where we keep, I got really lucky. It's like a marriage when you go into a nonprofit business with someone else and we share it. So I don't know if he's necessarily a mentor, but in a way he kind of is. But it's like we inspire each other, we learn from each other, we're constantly growing and evolving. And then if like just like fun celebrity mentors, I feel like, there's a lot of heroes in my life who I've learned a lot from about who to be as a person, just from their comedy or their films. And that's a lot has to do with the Marx Brothers, Steve Martin. I really learned a lot from Tim Burton in the early days, and Coen Brothers. They really taught me how to make movies. It's funny, like going and making watching movies just really teaches you how to make movies and watching behind the scenes stuff as much as you can, like how they made their movies and how they put their productions together. So back then we had to buy like DVDs and watch the like behind the scenes stuff, but now you got everything on YouTube. You can watch all these behind the scenes so much. So I really suggest like if you're really into filmmaking, watch a lot of behind the scenes videos of how they create the films because that's a huge lesson on how to make movies.
I'm
Um,
100% the same age, and I remember having to buy the DVDs just
yeah,
to
like
get
the
like
Criterion
the
collection of the DVD in order to see behind the scenes or bloopers and stuff like that. Yeah, you're like, oh. I remember when Wes Anderson movies came out, it was like all about the Criterion collection to watch all the behind the scenes stuff for all of his stuff when he first released. So that's another great filmmaker and to learn.
those are all solid mentors, and obviously it really does show you have to be a student for life. You constantly are working on your craft, and I'm sure that's something that you do preach to your students. I want to ask, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give to a younger Jason with all that you have experienced thus far in your life and your work with Spec Laboratories?
I give this advice to my students, and I still wish I listened to it myself more, but enjoy the process. Like, don't worry about the end result or how if it's gonna turn out great or not, or stressing about if people are gonna like it or not and all that. It's more about enjoying the whole process of creating whatever it is you're creating. If you're an actor, enjoying auditions. I wish I could have told younger me, enjoy the auditions and be grateful that you're going out on the audition. Because when I was in my like early 20s, if it was like a co-star on a TV show, I'd be like, oh, I should be the lead. Why am I going for a co-star? And I would look down on some or commercials. I would look down on it because I had success in that, so it didn't seem like a big deal to me. But now in life, I look back and wish I could have approached those auditions with more gratitude, being more grateful, a positive attitude, getting an audition and being super excited about it and working my hardest to do the best at it instead of just being like, oh, it's just a co-star, it's one line, no big deal. I'll just go in and do it. Like just having a more positive attitude about the whole experience of creating your art. So yeah, as a filmmaker, enjoying the writing, enjoying the pre-production, enjoying the filming, enjoying the post-production, actually enjoying editing, which, I'm getting better at it, but most of my students are all like, right, even as we're writing it, are obsessed with if it's going to get on a Netflix or if it's going to be picked up, if we're going to make a movie out of it. And they're already so far ahead in the future and not really present and enjoying being with their friends and like being silly and making movies and laughing and enjoying it. And I hear from big celebrities all the time who've made it. They're always like the best time I had was when I was in acting classes or when I was making those films with my friends when I was younger, before I became famous. So, for all of you out there who are creating and animating and directing and writing and doing it, just this is the time you got to have fun with making the process, or else there's no point really doing it. Like if you just want to be famous, it's cool and all, but it's you really got to enjoy the day to day and having fun and working with your friends and making the projects and stuff, and finding the joy in that.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's all about the process, and I could not agree with you more. You can't be already thinking who's picking this up, when's it coming out, when am I going to be famous? Stay the course and just create. So I love that. I know time-wise, you have another commitment, Jason. I know our guys probably have a lot of questions.
I can do like 5 minutes if you want, if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was reading your introduction and I heard that you used to be working for the help group, which I took throughout most of my grade school. So talk me through about your experience at the help group. Like, what did you do there?
Yeah, for a few years, this was when I was younger and I was trying to just find work and stuff like that. I worked for some of the after school programs at the help group. So there was like a science one, and then there was actually the Miracle Project was there doing some theater productions that I was a part of that. And then there was just like I do different people. So I wasn't there during the main school. I wasn't an official teacher. I was always like the crazy weird art teacher that came in the afternoon, and while if kids were like hanging out doing after school stuff. So yeah, I did some theater productions at Help Group for quite a while at the Culver City and the Valley one. The one I was mostly at the one in the Valley. Yeah.
The one in Burbank, right?
Off Burbank Boulevard there?
Yeah, because the school's in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, exactly. That's right next to Sharky's. That's
right there. That's where I
Right
went
next to Sharky's. There it is. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I wasn't like technically on staff there. I was more like I was brought in as an extra hire to do art programs with the help
Perfect.
group.
Great question, Presley, and I'm glad you reconnected. Jason, I want to thank you once again for making time for us and sharing the amazing work.
I'd love to come back eventually too,
Yeah,
we'll be
get
around.
You back.
Spectrum Laboratory will be around. All of you can easily, on our website at speclabs.org, you can message me through there. There's a contact. And the email is also thespectrumlaboratory@gmail.com. It's a very long email, but thespectrumlaboratory@gmail, or just hit up the contact and just say you saw me on this and you'd like to chat. And I'm always into, doing like a Zoom consultation and saying hi and talking with people outside of this, because it's what I love to do and love to meet any of you and, see how we can make some cool projects happen.
Love it. Jason, on that note, I want to thank you once again for making time for us tonight. We will most definitely be collaborating and working together. So glad we connected, and we have talented individuals we will send your way.
I'm sure I'd love to learn more too. So we'll stay in touch, and I check out I want to, if you guys have stuff you want to send my way, like a reel or any short film you made or any projects or anything, I love checking out that stuff. And we're trying to, get a lot more connections within the industry for people to get work and stuff. So we're trying our best. And, like I said, stay connected with communities and talk to your friends and, just keep going at it, keep making work, keep going for it. It's really awesome to talk to all of you today.
As we conclude another enriching episode, we hope you found inspiration in the stories shared today. Let's take a moment to honor Yes I Can's role in bringing Breaking the Biz to life. Yes I Can's commitment to empowering young people with disabilities through education, advocacy, and mentorship shines brightly, paving paths of opportunity and dialogue. This podcast celebrates the organization's dedication to nurturing talent and facilitating impactful discussions. Breaking the Biz is more than a podcast. It's a part of Yes I Can's broader mission to amplify voices, dismantle barriers, and craft a world that's more inclusive and accessible for everyone. Each episode is a chapter in our shared narrative of progress, education, and empowerment, driven by the spirit of Yes I Can. Thank you for spending your time with us on Breaking the Biz. Continue to challenge the status quo and share stories that resonate. Until our paths cross again, let's keep transforming aspirations into achievements and infuse every endeavor with optimism. Here's to advancing the landscape of the entertainment industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, William Felber. See you next time.